So we basically stripped out unnecessary stuff, reformatted part of the message, and then put it back together. Okay, and that's what we've done. Now, if we prepend a list, meaning we add a word to the start of a list, and that word is symbol, coll knows that we actually want a symbol for our index rather than an integer. So if we just put 1 and then our data, it'll read that as an index. But if we want, say, current partner or boyfriend, girlfriend to be our actual index, we need to tell coll that we're using a symbol. So we just put prepend symbol. If we have a look out there, it'll just put symbol in front, simple. Okay, and that, my friends, should format our coll. Oh, not happening. Extra arguments for message symbol. Let's have a look. Oh, I tell you what's going on. Prepend symbol. There's another thing we have to do, prepend store. So what we need is we need to, where does it go? Symbol, and then store in front. Let me just double check that, actually. It's always good to check your help file. Symbols. So I don't actually need to put the word symbol in front of it. I just need the word store, my bad. Okay, so let's have a look now. And there they are. Okay, so we can see that it's formatted exactly the way that we want it. We've got our, we have our symbol as our index, and then a comma, the way that coll likes it, followed by our 3 data points and our semicolon. So it means we don't have to input it every single one. All right, so I'm just doing 10 data points here, but the thing is that you might have an Excel spreadsheet with hundreds of data points, hundreds and hundreds, and that way this little bit here I've spent what, 20 minutes now putting that together, and you'll actually have the patch. This particular formatting patch can then stay there as something that you can then use for lots and lots of data points. Okay, and we don't have to go through it again. All right, so that's really useful. All right, so let's just make that a little bit smaller. We've got that in our coll. How do we actually get it out though? Just like last week, we send it an index, and that index will output the data, very simple. But because they're words, we should actually be sending them the words. So let's go current partner as an example. I'm going to go to symbol, so make it a symbol. And what should happen is we output that data. Not happening. There we go. Okay, so I had it in capitals. So there's that. But that's kind of boring because I don't want to have to do it for every single data set, every single row. So what I'm going to do when I actually add all of my coll, all of my information to the coll, is I'm going to populate a U menu. Has anyone seen a U menu before? Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually just going to populate that. I'm going to use prepend, append. Prepend means we add a word beforehand, so we're adding the word append because we can just add one item in the U menu at a time. And when it comes out of here, when I dump it, it should add each one into this U menu. Let's see if I make a mistake. No, I didn't. Okay, so there you are. We've got a U menu with each one of our data points as an option. That's really great for us, right? Because we can use the U menu automatically. Right? We can use it as a user interface element where we can actually press on each element, or we can send a metro with a counter to it, right, and automate that, which is really useful. Okay. But because we're probably going to press dump a few times, I'm just going to make sure that we don't double up. You use this trigger. So before I dump things through, I'm going to clear the U menu. Okay. so that we're not adding more and more of the same points each time. Okay, so there's that. So I can keep doing that, and it will be the same number of elements. Okay, the middle outlet of the U menu is the thing that we send to the coll, but we need to format it, once again, into a symbol. And then we should be able to output our data. Let's have a look. Okay, and hey presto. So, what's useful about that is I might want a metro over here, and a counter between 0 and 9, because I know there are 10, and the U menu starts at 0. So every second, each one of my columns is outputting its data. Okay. So last week we had a few videos that were showing us how to output and stream certain data points from coll. What's useful about this is that we can get discrete points out, but as a list, and lots of them. So you could have many, many columns, many, many data points, many rows rather, and we can just deal with them automatically like that. So one use for it, for instance, I could grab a few multi-sliders, three of them, have a look inside, make them a bar, and then actually choose a range. Now I personally know this data set, so I know that it goes between about 9 and 50. So I'm going to go 0 to 60 so that they're all the same. And I need to unpack this so I get the individual elements out of the list. And I need to connect these together. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's coming out. And I can visualize on the left the total number of victims, the total percentage of victims. In the middle, it's the percentage of victims where alcohol or other substances were involved, and on the right, it's where alcohol or other substances weren't. I can see the relationship between each one of them, and I can output it really, really easily. Okay, so it's a way of dealing with data. It's a way of dealing with text files and just formatting things so that you can then just get to the nitty-gritty of working out what to do with this information. Okay, so obviously you might then want to scale this out, work out what the range is, and then scale it to something usable, MIDI notes, automation for your synthesizers, that kind of thing. Or you might want to do something more complex with actually outputting from this U menu rather than just counting through 0 to 9. You might be wanting to randomize it, you might be wanting to look at subsets, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's a control patch basically. Cool, and that's really all I wanted to go through today. Does anyone have any questions about that?